Namaste. Let's continue on now with the 40 essential virtues. We're ready for the 21st, Arjava. It means straightforwardness, not moving and a weaving, a crooked line, not sort of going aimlessly in circles back and forth, but going just like that. A man once told me that when he was just a child, he saw a very interesting act. Those were the days almost before radio, this man, when he was a child. And so entertainment took place usually in a local kind of auditorium where people came through and they did various acts. Traveling actors would come through, put on plays. Uh, Musicians would come through and play music, etc., like that. And there were also these kind of novelty acts. Sometimes they'd all be mixed together. But he said that this man's ability, which isn't something I really particularly think of cultivating, but it was a good way to get money, he would be up on the stage in an auditorium. And of course, it'd be filled with people, all in the rows of their seats. And in those days, $1 was the normal daily wage for the ordinary worker. That's how much $1 was worth. And they usually were silver dollars, not our paper bills that are so current now. They had them, but very much people liked to see it because it was solid silver, which meant you got something in your hand that was worth something. It wasn't just theoretical. Therefore, a person would take a silver dollar and hold it up above themselves. And he said the man would look at it, but he would then take his finger and he would point exactly at it. And then he would leap off the stage and jump from back to back of the chairs without stepping on anyone and grab that silver dollar and come right back. And then he got to keep it because that was really quite some feat that he had accomplished. So it's interesting. He just cited it and said, "All right, here I go." And unerringly, he went, keeping his eyes on the silver dollar itself. That's what being Arjava is. Having the ideal toward us and moving toward the ideal and acting according to the principles of the ideal so that we will reach it. Now, it takes in it also a kind of honesty. It also means, you see, not being a little to the right, not being a little to the left, just right straight on. A lot of people don't like straight talk. A lot of people want it all to be sugar coated, but there's no place for that in genuine spiritual life. You've got to see the price and you've got to pay it. And that's the end. And if you don't want to, that's fine. That's up to you. But why be a fool around? Just, it says in the Bible, it's better to not vow than to vow and not fulfill the vow. Therefore, the successful sadhaka, because that's what the essential virtues are about, they are the ways of the powers of success. And so it means knowing right where you're headed and only heading there, and being straightforward and honest with other people. Now, not being the kind that says, "Boy, you are really ugly," or "Boy, what a big wart on your nose." That's not real honesty. That's just being a big mouth clod who doesn't have any sympathy for other people. But they do speak truly. And you have to be straightforward and say, this is my goal, this is what I intend, this is what I will do. As I mentioned in the last session, when I told my father, these are my principles and I'm going to live them out, and he said, well, you'll be an outcast from the family. And I thought, well, then here I go. You know something? I never did become an outcast from the family. Don't also pay attention to the threats that either other people or your own ego bring up, like you realize what'll happen? Because most of the time it won't happen at all. And if it does, you'll live. That's right. What is the saying? A diamond is a piece of coal that never gave up. Now, what made the diamond turn in? What made the coal turn to a diamond? Two things: pressure, intense pressure, and intense heat. See, tapasya. We talk about it as the very doing of spiritual life, the generation of heat. And there's pressure there also because it's control. It's taking a hold of your life and moving it in the way you really can see it should go. So that's what it means also. Being honest, straightforward with yourself and with others. Unselfishness, not doing a thing just for you as an earthly entity, your ego, your desires, but rather saying, because see, there's the false self and the real self. The false self, you have to say, you're a dream. I've served you for lifetime. It's no more. And you're not me. You're a lie. You're just an image, a false image in my mind. You're just a ghost. But I have a real self. I have a real truth. I have a real reality. And I'm going for that. And I will satisfy that alone. And I will accommodate that alone. And that's the highest form of unselfishness, not just being generous, not giving things, but refusing to let the ego have any consolation or any let up, saying, I am not this little unself, I am the great, the higher self. All right, then, number 23, amanitva, not seeking honor, respect, or homage, not wanting credit for anything. I even remember one time hearing a very wise minister say that there are people that if someone's sick and say a group of people go, like from the church, and they pray for them and they get well, they always like say, I was there, I was one of those that prayed for them, as if they did it. So there are those that want to be seen. There's a very wrong perspective written about it in Autobiography of a Yogi, actually. I think it's about the tiger saint. Yes. But anyway, supposedly at the end, the guru said, come with me, and like the devas can be thrilled at your practice of yoga. What? Oh, you're going to be in an arena somewhere where those who want to come can come in and watch and say, wow, that's amazing. Good for you. Good for you. Hardly. That's the cheapest, most childish form of egotism. Therefore, we shouldn't want people to say, ooh, wow, you did all that, you know. Or Well, show me some respect. We hear that, don't we? The fathers that are the least worthy of anybody's respect like to bellow at their children, "You will show me respect." My father never said such an idiotic thing to me in my life, and he was worthy of my respect, and he had it, even as an adult. When I met my father, I'll tell you how I don't say everyone should do this. When I met my father, I took a hold of his hand and I bowed and I kissed his hand. And then I put my arms around him, I hugged him, and kissed him on the cheek. But first, I honored him because he was worthy of it. He had lots of faults, he did lots of things. Oh, he was, when my mother died, he managed to marry two utter hellions that became my stepmothers and were the bane of my life. But he was sincere. He didn't know it would happen like that. So he too, he was impatient when maybe he should have been patient. But still, throughout it all, first of all, he suffered too, he struggled, and he deserved that respect. And I gave it to him. But we should give that respect, but we shouldn't demand it or expect it. I remember one time there was this neglected little boy, and I was visiting uh, this teacher, and anyway, we were going somewhere, and I said, "Well, why don't well, we ask him along? Uh, he has a difficult life, barren life. His parents don't care." So we went. I forget where we went. Somewhere entertaining. I think we went to an animal park or something. We paid his way and so on, and this and that. We ate in a restaurant. And so when it was all over, well, then he went home. And the others there said, "Well, he didn't even say thank you." Well, first, he hadn't been taught to. And second, well, then fine. If something was occupying his mind, that was it. I wanted him to have a good time. He had a good time. That was the reward. That was it. So if people show respect, that's nice. We shouldn't be the kind that say, "Oh, no, 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 no." That's fake ego, too. Let me tell you how it happens in India. And I guess among some fakes that come from India. People will take their money in India. Devotees, they don't have a lot of money necessarily, but they will go to a flower seller who makes garlands, like the leis in Hawaii, of flowers. And they'll come and they'll put it on the yogi or whoever the saint's supposed to be, whatever, and bow down. And they want to sit there and look at that and see. They love the yogi. They want to see him with the flowers. But oh no, the big babas, immediately they throw it off. I mean, they put it to say, and you look grumpy like, "Hey, I don't like all this honor and respect." What egomaniacs that they don't have any respect for someone who wanted to show them respect. So that's not what Amanitwa is. And if you see it, know what you're looking at. We'll say namaste there and take up the rest of the list next time.